not staying live yet.
Five, four, three, two, one.
What is the Matrix?
Start me from the top, man.
Maybe it's the weed got me. Maybe it's these trees got me. Maybe it's these hoes got me. Maybe it's this stroll that got me. Maybe it's these clothes got me. Maybe it's these laws got me. Maybe it's my dogs got me. Maybe it's these bras got me. Maybe it's this man that got me. Maybe it's my clan that got me. Maybe it's my fam that got me. My plans. The Matrix.
When I wake up in the morning, I wake up in the morning, putting my read in my Bible papers. Lord, I can see them later. Middle finger up, always screaming, fuck a hater. Chewing on them suckers like annihilator. No hip hop, this ain't rock and roll. This is real music, pop lock your soul.
All aboard! It is time to hop aboard my spaceship because you are now tuned into What is the Matrix? I'm the hottest host on the planet, Jason Elm Street Williams, master of the universe. And tonight, let me teach y'all about some of the topics before we get into it. We're getting into Trump and Elon Musk and the Bitcoin connection. Elon Musk and the Dogecoin rise with the presidential elections, the history of cryptocurrency and virtual currency, the mark of the beast, Elon Musk and the Neuralink linked to the microchip, and then the bodysuit to turn humans into robots and cyborgs. And once again, the Tesla Bitcoin scam. And happy Veterans Day to all my veterans. So we're going to get into Black men in Vietnam, the statistics of Black men in the military, those who protested the Vietnam War. And then since our president, Donald Trump, has started talking about the immigration, and he's also elected Elon Musk as the Department of Government Efficiency. So head of Department of Government Efficiency. So we're going to get into that, but we're going to talk about Ellis Island and the immigrations of the Europeans in America and who the true Americans are. So let's get into it with my beautiful co-host, LANA the Goddess.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you. First, let's give honor to the ancestors. Let me send balance right now to the chat, to everybody tuning in. We should be live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, right? So if you're on YouTube and you like what you hear, hit the like button. Go ahead and subscribe. So that way you know we come out every Wednesday at 7 p.m. We're signing in from where? Where are we coming in from?
Riverside, California.
Yep, IE over here representing. We got some really interesting topics per usual. I want to know what's going on with the Doja, with the crypto. I think I hit you up and was like, hey, should we be investing in the crypto? Like, is that a trick? And or was this a time change? Am I the only one that's like really tired? Like at 4 or 5 o'clock p.m., I'm ready to go to sleep. I feel like we entered in some kind of like time loop or something. Tell me what's going on, Jason. What's your thoughts?
It's definitely a time loop. I wanted to eventually talk about a book I read by David Icke called The Time Loop, but we definitely can get into that. I don't know if Murdoch has one of those pictures from Indiana Jones, The Dial of Destiny, but in that movie, they were talking about how the government, once again, the Philadelphia experiment, CERN, different technology that the government is using to alter time. So right here in Indiana Jones, Dial of Destiny, the new one, you saw how they let up. You know, they had the first one, then Raiders of the Lost Ark, then the Temple of Doom, the Last Crusades, all that leading up to them telling you about time travel and how they have us in a time loop. But let's get it going with Trump and Elon Musk and the Bitcoin.
Okay, let's do it. Interested.
So with everything going on, Lana, you were speaking of the Bitcoin. We see that the crypto market soars in trade as Trump leads us to the election. Bitcoin at life's all-time high. What do you feel about that? You know, do you see connection with Elon Musk and Donald Trump in the rise of Bitcoin?
Of course, it seems like a repeat too. Like when Trump was in office, like last time, wasn't crypto and Bitcoin just like skyrocketing and everyone was making all this money? There were like millionaires just popping up everywhere. So it just seems like it's kind of like the same repeat going on. That's why I said it's like a time loop. What do you think?
You keep saying the time loop. Murdoch, we're not going live on YouTube right now, though. With the Trump and Elon Musk and Bitcoin, throwing that Elon Musk with the Bitcoin and the Dogecoin again. So right there, you definitely see something going on with the same replay again, for sure. I definitely agree with that. But for me, I was starting the show to link up everything with the Donald Trump elections and Elon Musk. Once they start the digital currency, y'all, that's the end of human ingenuity as we know it, because that's when they start introducing the AI music, the AI movies. Because once they have the automated cars, you've already seen that they taken out the CDs in the cars. So this is what you'll be paying with. Everything's going to be digital currency, and that's how they'll be able to control people's wealth in the future, is making sure that if you have a certain amount of social credit, that's going to determine your score in amount, and then certain districts. So there was a movie with Justin Timberlake called In Time, and it was showing you basically what happens when they have digital currency, because then you can track everyone's purchase, you can track everyone's movement, and then you can put people in certain districts, kind of like they already do today in America, where the rich, the middle class, the poor, certain color and races are segregated. It's the same thing that they're about to do once people accept the digital currency, because then it'll be easily accepting to put your bank account or your ID in your wrist. And all you have to do is just scan yourself, or you just walk in anywhere and you're voluntarily giving your whole life data, you know, because if the majority of people in the stores are taken out, and let's say the servers are robots, and the majority of society in 4 to 8 years are robots, they're going to make you have a chip.
So check this out. Okay, look. So this is what when you showed that movie, in that movie, do you remember when they were traveling, they had to pay like a toll for like every city they hit? They couldn't get in that city unless they had like digital coins to get in or whatever. So I was driving the other day and it hit me, and I said, you know, there's cities that when you're driving, they have like gates. You know what I mean? Like you don't realize it or recognize it, but they have like gates. And then even sometimes in gated communities, you'll notice they'll have like, it looks like it's just a part of the makeup of the community, but those are gates. So they're ready to close certain places in certain cities. If you pay attention to the roads, they have some roads where they're ready to block them off.
Definitely. That's what we call the toll roads. They're already programming us for that, paying to get to certain districts, certain areas, them questioning, why are you coming over here? You don't have enough money to afford anything over here. Go back there. And especially when the autonomous cars hit. So when we talk about Bitcoin, y'all, let's get into a little bit of the history. We have a picture Hopefully this show isn't going to bore y'all too much, but linking up every episode, you see we're predicting the future. So put that history of cryptocurrency and virtual currency up, Murdoch. And we're going to talk about how Bitcoin basically was introduced in 2008 and launched in 2009. And basically, Bitcoin, it was used in the 80s as the black market coin. This is what they use for sex trafficking, murder for hire, all criminal major activities, drug trafficking, all these different things. And it started with someone called Satoshi Nakamoto. Satoshi Nakamoto is an invisible person who no one's ever met, no one's ever seen, who wrote something called it's like a Bitcoin manifesto. It's called the peer-to-peer electronic cash system. And this person laid out the foundation how Bitcoin was going to revolutionize the banking system by decentralizing the banking system to where the government is not involved. And so basically, this person who created Bitcoin is invisible. So now you see once again a craze, like we're saying since the Trump Elon election for the digital. They changed Staple Arena to the crypto arena. So you know that they're going to be pushing this again. You already know from Biden getting sick, from Kamala being vice president, all this was set up, y'all. All this was media propaganda to get certain people into power to bring about the digital age for the robot takeover, the colonizing of Mars, and like I say, the human shutdown. And that's what, for me, Bitcoin is all about. It's going to create the wealth gap. And so with that, go ahead.
What's the plan?
Well, I'm going to talk about it, but also there was something called e-gold in the 1960s. So the first so-called cryptocurrency, digital currency, was actually in the 1960s, and people were able to open up accounts using grams of gold, y'all. So e-gold in 2005 had about 2.5 million accounts daily open, with over $6 million being transacted with US dollars in 2005. And in 2007, e-gold was indicted by a grand jury in the US for money laundering and all these things that is attached to Bitcoin, because Bitcoin and digital currency was the currency for the criminal underworld. So in 1989, cryptocurrency first appeared. In 1980, David Chaum, Chaum, invented digital money. And then October 2008, Satoshi Nakamoto published the paper titled Bitcoin, peer-to-peer electronic cash system. And today, Elon Musk, or this month, Elon Musk moved $760 million worth of Bitcoin into unknown wallets, and Tesla owns over $2.4 million of Bitcoin.
Goodness.
So right here, you guys see that they're going to have the robots. Before the president got elected, you guys don't remember the robot rollout when Tesla showed you? Before the president election, they showed you that Tesla SpaceX has been putting satellites, it looks like a spaceship, all in our atmosphere, and that's for the Neuralink, y'all. That's to start connecting the human body to the cell phone. I believe we have a picture with the Tesla Neuralink, Murdoch. And right there, you guys, what do you think, Lana? You were talking about the smartphones, how if you go to a person's house, certain things pop up, or even if you think it now.
Yeah. The cell phone, if you have it, that's why it's not good to have the cell phone next to you, because it's literally reading your information. So you could be talking to your friend. Let's say you're talking about anything. Let's talk about hey, where are we going to go hang out tomorrow? Let's go hang out at Magic Mountain. And all of a sudden, all these ads for Magic Mountain pop up on your phone. How did my phone know that? It's a smartphone. That's a coincidence. No, your phone is literally reading all of your energy. So it's doing it right now. They've been shooting those rockets that they've been shooting in the air that everyone's like, oh, no, it's just a rocket. No, they're shooting that up there for a reason. So they have this rollout like they're doing now. This is intentional, like you were saying. So, yeah, it's happening now as we speak.
And so with that bodysuit again, Murdoch, I want to show people so they can see it before we show the Neuralink. So what they're going to do is they're going to make it so cool and fascinating to where you can start controlling your car with these microchips in your body. You can control the car with your Neuralink. So your house, eventually they're going to introduce smart houses to where you can control your houses through digital platforms and things of that nature. And then once again, like Lana was saying, to the technology in outer space, linking the human body to the Neuralink. So let's put up that Neuralink picture of Elon Musk and the brain chip. This is a reality, y'all. He's here. The mark of the beast that they talk about in people's books and stuff. This is what I feel it is, because imagine someone of his popularity and power. Now that you see the Bitcoin craze, people are all worried about money. They're not worried about education and knowledge, and basically the preservation of human culture is at stake here, you know, because eventually if they can link people's brains to AI, it's a wrap. And possibly also I'll link it to where when you see ancients with certain hats on, to me as a kid, I always felt, and through my research, I could prove it. Ancient hats were mind devices. Who's there? Brother Sunra, what's good, King?
Hey, peace, man. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Pharaoh. What's good, God?
Hey, peace. How you doing, man?
Doing good. We're over here. I linked up the Trump and Elon Musk presidential election to the Bitcoin and Doge craze, to the rise of that. I just broke down the history of cryptocurrency and basically Elon Musk and the Neuralink, and how the Neuralink is going to be the mark of the beast to where people accept the microchip. What do you feel about the Neuralink, digital currency, and with the new elector, with Trump electing Elon Musk to a new position, and all this virtual reality craze with Bitcoin?
So I don't know too much about Bitcoin and crypto. I don't know anything about that. I never got into that, to be honest. So okay. I'm interested. I guess what later on I'm hit you up about that. Educate me about crypto and all that. I never got into that, to be honest. To be 100%. Now in terms of
okay.
What'd you say?
Go ahead.
When I came in, you was talking about how the chip, the Neuralink. So the first thing I thought about was them Tesla cars, and I thought about that movie. I thought about that movie, Leave the World Behind. I don't know if you've seen that, but in that movie, long story short, all the Tesla cars got taken over by terrorists and started crashing to each other. So robotic technology is very. If you notice, these people are cyberdizing themselves. They're becoming more robot-like, right? They're swapping out their body parts, right? For you know what I'm saying? Because their DNA is recessing, right? So in order for them to continue to survive, they must upgrade themselves cybernetically. So Neuralink, and then it shit gets deep, because okay, this is the deep part. Because a lot of these beings do not have a soul, right? They cannot leave this realm once they leave their body. So where can they go? They can either be trapped as ghosts, floating around like they show in the movies, right? They all show you, don't they all show you white ghosts? I wonder why. Yeah. Or if you've seen the movie Transcendence, they can upload themselves into a virtual reality program, and that's what they're doing. A lot of people who can't leave, but they have the money, they're uploading their consciousness or their being into these computer simulations. You know what I'm saying?
Lawnmower man.
Yeah, there you go. There you
That,
go. There,
you know.
and hey, another good one was Transcendence. Check that out.
Oh, so go on that, and then like we talked about a few weeks ago, the movie with Denzel Washington's son, the creator, they were able to take people's consciousness and what they saw and transfer it into a computer. And once again, through my studies, I believe that's what they're doing when they open up the cryo chambers, which are known today as sarcophaguses. To me, the sarcophaguses are ancient cryo chambers to preserve our ancient bodies that we could resurrect. But what they're doing is when they open them, they could plug certain computers to the thorax and try to get certain pharaoh's tone to speak to unlock certain hieroglyphs. And also they can try to decode what that person saw. But the movie that you were talking about with the Tesla is like Maximum Overdrive. For my theory is that the bombs are going to be in the electronics when they attack us. They'll be in the Tesla cars. They'll be in the, probably hopefully not the laptops, the TVs, the stereo systems. That's why they're making everything digital, so it's easy to shut down our country. This is why we got to be careful putting people like Elon Musk into power, because that's exactly what I feel that they plan to do. So you were talking about the link to Tesla, and before you called in, I was linking that when they put the Neuralink, put that picture up again, Murdoch, so Sunrock can see it. I was connecting that when Elon Musk's popularity rises in these next 4 years, people are going to voluntarily microchip themselves and link themselves voluntarily to the AI system and the internet that Elon Musk and these people plan to do, so people can download information quickly just by a thought. And that's, for me, where it's introduced to where you can drive your car through your mind, or once again, autonomous vehicles, to where once again, if you go into stores, you have to have a microchip to pay for your groceries. Why? Because only robots are going to be in the stores. How they're going to be able to identify you when you walk around, if most of the jobs that are humans are taken away from robots, because you're already under surveillance, so they'll know if you steal. They already have burgers and stuff to flip. The warehouses are all pretty much going to be autonomous. And then the underground Tesla tunnels. So we're talking about a takeover, like Sunra and Lana are saying, of the digital realm. And can you talk about, Lana was asking about the time loop, how you were saying that it's already Wednesday again. It's almost the end of November. It was Halloween yesterday.
Yeah.
You know, do any of your teachings talk about the time loop and any of the technology being used?
Yeah, somebody's phone going off. You hear that?
Is it ringing?
Yeah, it's ringing. Is that my
That's
shit?
what happened to me last time.
Is that my phone?
I can't hear, but Lana was saying that. Murdoch, do you hear anything ringing?
Yeah, I do. I do.
I don't hear anything.
I had to hang up and call back in.
Hold on. Let me see if hold on, y'all. Am I calling anybody? I'm not calling. Okay. No, that ain't me, but all right, whatever. Show that
Elon Musk bodysuit before we move on to the Vietnam. So there you go, Sunra. We're going to talk about Vietnam after this in Veterans Day.
Interesting. Vietnam, very interesting.
So do you see the picture up right there?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So what do you feel about everything from the do you know about the Neuralink with Elon Musk?
So you're talking about the chip?
Yes.
So it's basically, okay. So you said something else too. You said how they're going to use the chip to, you can drive your car, right, without just by thinking about it, right?
Yes.
Right. So I was watching a alien UFO podcast, and they were saying how they were having trouble. They couldn't fly these alien ships, right? Because the aliens, when they fly them via telepathically. So that's what they're trying to do. They're basically trying to artificial telepathy using that damn Neuralink. That's what's going on, huh?
And they're trying to find which of us are the mutants. Which ones, like when I had I was labeled with ADHD. And when they tried to take me off of Ritalin, we had to go to a place called Drake Institute. And
Drake Institute.
It was called, yeah, right.
That's wild.
Yeah, look it up. It's called the Drake Institute.
That's wild.
They would connect wires to my brain and stuff, and I would control video games like Mario Brothers and all this stuff with my brain. And so in 4th grade and 6th grade, in junior high too, I would tell kids like, yo, I play video games with my brain. They'd be like, he's crazy.
Nah, hell nah.
Years, 20 something odd years later, here comes this technology, and I'm like, yo, they had the genius kids. They were testing this out years ago with this technology, man. And go ahead.
All that technology, again, hey, I advise you when you get a chance, check out some of these UFO podcasts where a lot of these old elite government officials, they just dropping all the classified information on what the fuck really going on. Okay, all the technology is coming from so-called extraterrestrials.
Yeah.
What they learned is extraterrestrials are highly telepathic. Guess what? Including you niggas too. Just like you said, the mutant part, including y'all. And they're trying to figure, and they're trying to find who is telepathic, who can control these crafts, right? So now what they're doing is they're using these Neuralink chips, and they're gonna pretend like, oh, okay, we're gonna give it to the public to figure out, so they can use technology to interface, but they really want to use it so they can interface with this alien technology that they can't use, because a lot of the alien technology is DNA coded with your DNA. You know what I'm saying? So if Jason were to walk up to a UFO, all you gotta do is touch it, and that motherfucker go open. You know what I'm saying?
And that's why they showed you in Black Panther Part 1 with Killmonger when they were telling you that they have our artifacts in the Vatican, in the museum, and that's why they stole our artifacts, because it's DNA activated and
exactly
activated. That's why they keep us away from our monuments, y'all.
Look, exactly. That's why they don't want you going near the pyramids, because if you just walk up to one of them doors, it's going to detect your presence. There's technology in the pyramids where it can detect your presence. So certain doors will open up just by you standing, just by you standing in front of that motherfucker. So that's why. Go ahead.
We were in Egypt and Kemet, time I was crazy. We were in Kemet with Ashraf Crazy in 2009. I'm running up to the temple walls. He was like, "Yo, stop,
man! Fuck that! You could have win." Hell no.
What happened?
He said, man, I'm telling you, brother. He said, I've been doing this trip for over 30 years, and I've seen stuff that you wouldn't believe. He said, you're going to be running around here by yourself and press something. And he said, one of these walls moved, and he said, ain't nothing I can do. He said, I'm telling you.
But guess what, Jason?
That's what I was doing.
Jason, you're not a European Egyptologist. You are Jason, a descendant. So you're not gonna get killed. You're gonna unlock some stuff. Shit.
Okay,
I felt I did when I was there. That's why I advise everyone to go to Kemet, and eventually we're gonna start taking trips to Mexico so we can get downloads. Like Brother P's and Q's, Peace of the Gods, activation. Much love to Brother P's and Q's for tapping in. What were you gonna say, Goddess?
I was going to say, so let's backtrack a little bit, because you guys are talking about the mark of the beast. You're scaring the Christians. Like, what's the POA? What's the plan of action? Should we be investing in crypto? Should we not? And if we don't, what's the plan?
Sun Ra, do you have anything to say?
Again, I don't know nothing about crypto.
I don't either.
For me, crypto, for anything, I'll tell people to invest. When you have money to invest in something and take risks, invest in crypto, just like people invest in stock markets, so you do not get left behind. So if you do have extra money outside of your own business endeavors, after paying your bills and stuff, I would advise people to learn and invest in certain coins. Why not? I just looked at my wallet after my goddess brought up Bitcoin and from 4 years ago, and I have money still in my crypto. So that was cool. But for me, when we accept digital currency, it's excuse me, when we accept cryptocurrency and digital currency, it's accepting the mark of the beast, because it's leading to no morals. What Bitcoin is doing is making people money crazy, money crazy. I gotta get money, money, money. What do you like? There's no community anymore. It's the education aspect of something. And so what we're going to do, I just took out my virtual reality headsets. To me, that's to where we have to get in immediately, because that's where it's going to be. Buying virtual reality real estate, investing in your own virtual reality worlds like the Matrix University. This time, let's not get left behind. Just like in the 80s, computers were getting introduced, and a lot of Black people didn't have so-called computers in their household, but those that did were more advanced or up to speed with your so-called white classmates. It's the same thing. So yes, digital currency is a way to invest, but also it's gonna lock down humans because it has no gold standard behind it. What are the ethics behind it? What's the nationality or code behind it? We just said that the name of the person was Satoshi Nakamoto, who I believe is Elon Musk. I believe that the creator of Bitcoin, who no one's ever seen, is Elon Musk. And that's why Trump got elected, was because of advertising. He put $100 million into the elections. They have electronic elections, and there you go. The elections are fucking rigged. You know what time it is. But at the end of the day, we the people shouldn't be voting in the first place. So
and he's going to put us to sleep.
So let's get into, because we're going to lead to it. Black men in Vietnam. Because we're talking about war, y'all. This is the war of the mind right here. It's a soft war. It's an invisible war. So that's an anti one, Murdoch. We'll get to that, but it says no Vietnamese ever called me a nigger, but Black men in Vietnam. So what do y'all feel about war and so-called Black men in Vietnam? Do you guys have any knowledge of Vietnam, since it was Veterans Day, and we see the disproportionate number of Black men in the military compared to the rest of the population? And I'd like to give a shout out to my father, who was drafted right here, as you see, with pictures and stuff with other brothers in Vietnam. So imagine graduating from college, imagine graduating from high school, and the government telling you that you have to go fight a war, and if not, you're going to jail. Imagine that. So that's the bloodline that I come from. I come from a Vietnam veteran who was drafted. So the same bullshit. That's why my dad tells me, like, can you, like, when people complain, he said, can you basically, even though he has dementia now, can you freaking imagine, son, me being drafted? My dad said that was the first time he ever cried. I was like, no, you didn't. That couldn't have been the first time. He said, son, that was the first time I ever cried. Because he said down south during then, he said, you couldn't cry. And he said, my granddaddy, rest in peace, came from the back. They had an outhouse and stuff. My dad's from the country, the sticks, Lutcher, Louisiana. And his dad was coming, so he wiped his tears. And I was like, why didn't you cry in front of your dad? He said, because back then, that was an honor to go serve your country. And so his dad was like, man, I'm proud of you, da-da-da. And my dad said he went to basic training for a few weeks or a month or so, and they shipping him. Landed in, I think, Vietnam, first Okinawa, Vietnam, and coming in with bombs and all that crazy shit. So
look, this is what I do know. Don't y'all remember a couple months ago when they tried to say that everybody from 18 to 30 or 25 have automatically been registered for the draft? Yeah. Therefore, if America gets involved in the next World War, a lot of these young TikTok generation, you know what I'm saying? They're gonna be on the battlefield with their smartphones.
They're ready. They're ready. They've been in there playing. They've been playing Call of Duty. But check this out.
Call of Duty is so far from the truth. Ain't no respawning. You know what I'm saying? So these TikTokers, these Call of Duty, it's gonna be a rude awakening.
Big time.
They already said that the Russians in Ukraine are using Elon Musk, his technology, the Neuralink that he's putting in the sky above America. Why aren't Americans complaining about this? And where did he get the technology from? It's extraterrestrial technology, y'all. I mean, Elon Musk has 2 bachelor's degrees from the University of Pennsylvania, and he dropped out after 2 days at Stanford with his PhD. But 1991 Gulf War, black men and women equal 25% of the military, yet make up 12% of the U.S. population. Underneath, percentage of black recruitment from 2001 to 2009 during Gulf War conflict. 20% in 2001, 13% in 2006, 10% in 2009. Great, we see a decrease. 1.29 million total members of U.S. military. Military officers in 2016 are only at 8%, yet 78% white military officers. 1 out of 5 soldiers are black. 61% of black soldiers are due to get court-martialed, and black airmen, 71% are more likely to face court-martialed than white airmen. So right here, Dr. Martin Luther King had a quote about Vietnam. He said that Vietnam is a white man's war, but a black man's fight. So let's put on the movie Dead Presidents, y'all. Let's show that picture. Not that I sent you the picture of one of the actual movie to see if we can stir up people's memory of that movie. If y'all remember it, watching. Let's see if we can get it. Can Murdoch find the missing dead presidents? So what do you feel about that, Sun Ra, as far as black men being drafted in that generation with our grandfathers in World War I, World War II, having to fight for this country? And like my father also said, he came back in San Francisco to people spitting on them, protests, you know? So imagine how fighting for this country and not receiving the benefits. Do you have any knowledge on Vietnam or war?
So I used to study World War II a lot. You know, I'm a history buff. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm kind of split because one side of me, I agree with being a patriot, because when you're born in a nation, you're going to naturally have patriotism. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you don't know the truth of what's going on. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of us are misguided into thinking that we're supposed to fight for our country and die for our country. Nigga, please. And that shows you how deep the spell is, because ultimately you're fighting for the country because you want that white man money. That's what you're doing, right? So you're willing to kill other colored people across the planet just because you want for money? Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, look, that's in our DNA too, Jason. We're warriors. We're not no soft ass people. We are also warriors. You know what I'm saying? If America was if America was righteous, nigga, I might have signed up for the military. Shit.
Well, that's why if it wasn't for so-called black soldiers, America would have lost all of their wars, from the Tuskegee Airmen, the Buffalo Soldiers, who we would call sellouts still, you know. So it was always us saving this nation, yet we haven't reaped the benefits of that. So I definitely agree with killing innocent people. There's a picture that I sent Murdoch that you had earlier that said Viet Cong never called me a nigger. And there was a movie that Spike Lee came out, I think it was called Five Bloods. A lot of brothers, I can't talk too much family stuff, but they would talk about temples when they were in Vietnam that had black men's faces on it, bro. And that they were actually bombing the temples that showed proof of us being the original Viet Cong, Vietnamese. And so that was another thing that they said, is that the white officers were shooting and killing a lot of the black soldiers. So a lot of the stories, and it breaks my heart that a lot of our fathers and stuff are having dementia. Some of them might have flashbacks, and these stories of Vietnam really need to be told, because there's more horror stories. That's why I really wanted Dead Presidents to pop up, because it showed how Chris Tucker, you remember when he came back, he got addicted to drugs. Same with Lorenz Tate. So I was trying just to get people prepared and ready to understand, when you're dealing with people who are war hungry, it's money as well, you know. But
sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but I wanted to piggyback on what you were saying about being, going into war. It kind of goes with what we said last week about being a prisoner of war, and how much it messes with mental illness. Our people suffer from mental illness tremendously. We're always in war. Either we're sent to physically fight, or we mentally have to deal with it. And even when the men are at war, the women still are at war, because now they have to hold down the fort while the husbands are gone fighting, especially such a young age. I can't even imagine, having to go fight, and especially if you've never gone to fight before, and now you're thrown in here with a gun, and they're like, okay, fend for yourself. Like Sun Ra was saying, for a country that really doesn't give two craps about you, but you're out there for your family and for that little money they're giving you. And in exchange, what do you get? Mental illness, PTSD, that's lifelong. And then now the family has to deal with that. So that's unfortunate. But yes, shout out to all of the veterans out there. So much love to you.
Ultimately, hold on, real quick. Ultimately, real quick, even though I might not agree with American policies, I respect soldiers. These are warriors. These are warriors, man. And a lot of niggas have proven that they're willing to go to war just to feed their family. So I do respect that, to be honest.
Absolutely.
And just look, America, we have a lot of black people, Nubians, serving in the Navy right now. So and there's I can't be answering, huh?
Oh, go ahead. The Navy, I was going to say, remember that movie with Rihanna, Pacific Rim?
Oh, yeah. No, that's called Battleship.
Battleship. Okay, Battleship.
Yeah. That's what a lot of, man. That's why a lot of our
bases are, bro. They've only discovered 5% of the ocean, I believe. So 5 to 15. So imagine what's underneath the ocean, So, but before we move on to Ellis Island, with my father's generation, as before he got sick, as he would explain, it was a different type of patriotism. They probably didn't know, but like my dad said, they got drafted. Brothers got drafted. They didn't want to go because they knew what time it was. That was the great thing with Muhammad Ali. He escaped to Canada. They took his belt and put him in jail for that. But what Lana was saying, my father was saying how they got their butts kicked in Vietnam because, they're chasing, let's say, a Viet Cong or something, and they run into the tunnels. And sometimes they would put poisonous snakes on the roots of the tunnels. So let's say you're chasing, much love to the Viet Cong. They're chasing the Viet Cong and you get bit like that and you die in the tunnels. So you might be having to go over your homie and stuff, chasing the Viet Cong. He said, man, the traps and stuff, you walking on things and it turns over. These dudes in trees shooting at you. You got white officers when you get into the jungle trying to kill you. He said it was insane. And imagine, like you were also pointing out, only a month or two of training when you're fighting people who lived in the jungle and fighting for all their lives. And so there's innocent people losing their lives, and that's what's at stake again, y'all. They have us playing these video games, watching all these movies of war, UFC, all this stuff on TikTok, Instagram of fighting and violence. To me, we are a peaceful people. In order to build these pyramids and ancient monuments and ancient technology, there had to been a time of peace, y'all. All this fighting, it's kid stuff. That's what these people are doing. We've elected kids as presidents, y'all. We've elected the babies of the planet who are not Americans. They are citizens of the United States, which are subjects of the Queen of England. Let's get into Ellis Island, y'all. Donald Trump is talking about immigrants. Let's talk about who are the first immigrants. Because we're going to talk about white slavery in the next episode. But Ellis Island and the people of America, the official guide. So right here in the front, you see a what? You see a Moorish castle right there, because the original people who brought Europeans to America were Moors. But then there was a fluctuation of Europeans who recently just got here from Europe. And that's why you see the Statue of Liberty. So here are the people, the Slavs. These are the slaves and indentured servants who came to America, y'all. These were the ones who were shipped here, some coming from Africa as prisoners of war, or indentured servants that the Moors brought from Africa. And then when they let the prisons go in Europe, you can read it, they let the prisons out, and these people fled into America. Right here, Ellis Island, you see millions of Europeans flooding into the Americas. So when you see a pale-skinned person, much love to all people, and you hear them, it's really insanity that we believe in this. It's insanity that we have Black people in the military fighting for a racist regime that has us prisoners of war in our own land. Murdoch, let's get into those statistics of Ellis Island. Can y'all read that? Main sources of European immigration to the United States, 1841 to 1860, y'all. We have the Irish, 780,000 in the 1840s to 1850s, 1850s to the 1860s, 900,000. So let's basically say the 1800s, we had over 1 million Irish coming to this country. In the mid to late 1800s, Germans, we had over 1 million. So let's say 2 million. So we have over, if there's another statistic page, this is over 5 to 10 million Europeans plus who came into the Americas recently. Recently, y'all. They don't teach us the history as they should. If you learned that so-called white people just got here, then you will understand, wait a second. They said that the American Indians by the millions died, and that they brought millions of Africans from Africa. That wouldn't make sense because then they would outnumber them. So that's how you learn how they reclassified us as Black, African American, colored, or Negroid, from American Indians to Moors and Moors. And that's what they're trying to steal with Elon Musk, with the robots and stuff, is our culture. They're trying to erase us from history. And that's why they're using the time machines, the time loop, and all these CERNs, movies, the fake education system, the artificial intelligence. They've already time traveled to knock the nose off the pyramid. They've already time traveled to where when you go to Egypt, the noses are knocked off. When you go to Mesoamerica, when you study the books, they've already time traveled and done it, y'all. So in the future, which is about to happen, the time glitch again, they'll have pointed noses on the Egyptian statues. The god will be a white man, as you already see. They time traveled and done that. So
the books will be revised.
Right, and that's the time loop. So when you wake up to this dream world, you forget that you're God and that you're the creator of the universe. And that's how they trap you in the matrix. And that's what Sun Ra was saying. The so-called pale skins have to either mix in with you to gain a little bit of soul, because if they die, either not knowing what they call God, which is the supreme God intellect of a so-called Moor black man, until they meet one of us and see us dance, see our civilization, they don't know God, bro. They don't come from God. They don't come from that. But they force themselves on us, and they manipulate us through the media, through false education, through religion, through Jesus worship, to make us believe that we are the same species, that we are the same people, by using words like man, mankind, and human. But in all actuality, we are the extraterrestrials. We're the extraterrestrials that they talk about. To me, that crash landed here and also went through a Stargate, but basically we got trapped here. And the further we got, the longer we got trapped in this realm, our skin rusted from green, dark blue to this copper tone, and we lost memory. And so basically we are the children of the post-apocalyptic war that took place already on this planet. They already dropped the bomb that created mud floods and earthquakes on this planet recently. And that's what's happening to us. We're coming back online, y'all. Some of us are waking up and getting our memory back of who we were in our past life. And that's why they give us 7 days: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, click again, 7, you know? And then days of the hour: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 11, 12, click again. And so they use calendars and times to trap you to when you wake up to this dream. You have distractions, Donald Trump, Jesus, God, bills to pay, like all this stuff to make you forget what time it is. And that's what Michael Jackson was trying to do with his video, Do You Remember the Time? Because they put a time loop on us, and they also use words like black, colored, African American, and all these word spells, magic spells, to trap you in a time of words and magic for you to forget when you used to fly, walk on water, how you could touch someone and heal them, how you could speak words and heal them, which some of us can do today. So that's the solution, is not to get lost in the beast system, and to form these conversations again, to start activating your thought, your Tahuti, the Jedi, because that's who Tahuti is, the thought. And once, because that's what they're trying to do, they're trying to strip us of our imagination. So if there's, in the future, if there's AI music, what are the kids going to create? If there's AI movies, what are the kids going to create? If there's AI teachers, what is the future? If there's AI museums, if there's no trees, if the oceans are polluted, what is the future, y'all? It's robots. It's robots controlling you. And that's why they use religion to divide us, because black, white, blue, color, that is kid shit. Because before the education system, we all played together. We all got along. It was the movies. It was religion. It were all these things that were given to us by people we do not know. Your God is your mother, your father, your friend next to you, Sun Ra, Lana. These are your deities. Your deities walk amongst you today. And so do the devils. It's community time, y'all. It's time to drop the color lines and start walking on frequency.
Yep.
You know, go on someone's Instagram and Facebook and scroll down their page for months or whatever. You'll see who a person is. See if they drop any consciousness. If they don't, that's where they're at. You see so many conscious leaders talking about bragging about Trump now. I'm like, damn, homie, you're asleep. So the solutions are these conversations. The solutions are opening up your own business, creating your own culture, your own music, your own art for the day when all this shuts down. You have real value because you are the value. So the last 5 minutes, I wanted to show you guys a picture of the orphan trains. Do you guys remember the movies back in the day with all the movies like Orphan Annie, Pippi Longstocking,
Longstocking.
Pippi Longstocking,
Open
coming
hand.
into your
Nana.
home, a freckle face. Yeah. So Little Rascals, all these orphans, the Newsies. So where did all these orphans come from? I want everyone watching this show to type in the orphan trains. Millions of orphans were shipped around the world, shipped around America to Wisconsin, Midwest, all these different places. Where did they come from?
Is that where the Cabbage Patch Kids came from?
Exactly. This is when you start learning about cloning. This is when you start learning about Hitler and how, like Sunra was saying, they never lost the war in Operation Blue Clip, not just in Antarctica and Peru, but also here in the Americas, which you call NASA. These scientists were using genetic engineering to create what you call different races. So, what you call the pale-skinned Europeans, some of them that walk amongst us. And at the end of the day, that's what we were talking about. If they die without knowing our knowledge, that's where they go to. You can only go as far as what you know. That's why they have to dumb us down. So when we die, or if you die, and if you don't have enough information, you can't pass on. So now their trick is to take you from being a god and turn you into one of them, to where you become a ghost and you become trapped here. So this is like a school, y'all. I call it the school of the gods. This is like an ultimate test, to where if you can pass this test, you can walk amongst the stars. You can travel to different galaxies and planets and matrices. But if you fail, if you become unrighteous in this world, you fall down to the troglodytes realm of what we call the pale skin man's world. And his realm is the material realm that you see today. That's the matrix. That's the fake stuff that's not real, that he's built in front of you that's actually not real. And the evidence of the old world are the ancient monuments. So that's why it's imperative for us to start learning. Did I have a picture of Reading Rainbow on there? Did I have a picture of Reading Rainbow, Murdoch?
Nuh-uh.
Okay, what about the Tuskegee mass shooting? Because I wanted to show y'all Jason months, y'all. Didn't I tell y'all about the rituals as we close it out? In the Jason months, July, August, September, October, November, every year there's mass murders. I studied it because of my name. I started picking up on it in like 2002 when I was making my first album. And so I started realizing in these months leading up to Christmas and the New Year, before the cycle of the time loop starts again, they do murders. It's not a coincidence that on the one dead, several injured at Tuskegee University shooting as the Alabama College celebrates its 100th homecoming. So right there, we talk about strategic events, y'all. I want everyone watching this show to type in the recent mass shooting at the Tuskegee 100th homecoming and listen to the gunshots. That's military, y'all. That's not a bunch of black kids shooting guns, y'all. That's military. And so these events are staged to come into your black communities now with the tanks and shut you niggas down. Because you guys have had all the time in the world to believe in Jesus. You've had a church on every corner. Your pastor has gotten all the money, and you have allowed gangs to take over your communities in the name of God. So now Donald Trump, Elon Musk is going to create events called martial law to control you niggas once and for all. This is the last stand for black people, by the way, because the immigration laws, this is the thing why I showed the immigration. The pale-skinned European is the first illegal immigrant who is squatting on ancient Aboriginal Moorish land. They are the ones who are supposed to be paying us taxes for using our land to build their evil, wicked, draconian United States corporation empire, y'all. This is what the solution is. The solution is for you to know that we did not land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on us. It is actually time for us to remember that when you understand that we are the Aboriginal people, that we are the Olmec, that we are the Washita and Choctaw, the original Seminole, the original Black Indians of this land, that means that through treaties by the U.S. government that they made with Morocco, because remember, Morocco is the first nation, the first country to recognize the United States of America as a country. Where's Morocco? Africa. So that means that Africans are the reason that pale-skinned Europeans were allowed to leave the hells and caves of Europe, given knowledge to run their own land and corporation, or actually rent our land for a certain amount of time to see what they could do. And so your time's up. All you've done ever since we've given you a little bit of masonry and our knowledge, you've gone around the world tricking people, lying to people, creating diseases, creating unnecessary wars. This is supposed to be a time of peace.
Yep.
So this is why it's time to separate. The solution is to find a way to come together to purchase land or to purchase brick and mortar buildings, because eventually you're going to want to separate from them. The only reason that they haven't bombed America is because the so-called children of God. The only reason. When you travel the world, they bow down to you, y'all. I promise you, outside of the racist bullshit, other people, when you travel amongst the world, they love you. They'd be like, man, they call you gods. When I was in Egypt, man, the Arabs would be like, the gods have returned. He's like, I can see you glowing. I can see you. Come here, come here. And he'd be like, that's you. Statue, look, that's you. That's you. I'm like, see, man, the rest of the world, they know who we are. But it's the so-called Black Christians. And that's what Trump is going to do. So now you're going to start seeing on TV Christian commercials, pumping Christianity. You're going to see the promotion of that, and so-called Black people who worship Jesus are going to see Donald Trump as their savior. Once again, falling in love with the Matrix. So this means we eventually have to form our own organizations. So we're going to start wrapping it up. Sun Ra, leave us with something as we head into Thanksgiving and these holidays, Bitcoin, and all the things we talked about.
Hey man, you talked about. Hey, you said a lot. You said a lot. So check this out. This is what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna touch on what you said at the end. Everybody Google Tamaray, Edenton, Georgia. That is the goal. Tamaray. It was our own land. We had our pyramids. We had housing. We had all that. But guess what? The white man came and destroyed it. So that has to be, huh?
Go ahead. Keep talking about it.
So that has me wondering. They don't want you to separate. They want you to be a part of the system. You know what I'm saying? Because every time we try to separate, it gets bombed out, right? It gets bombed out. But I want everybody to Google Tamaray, Edenton, Georgia. You're gonna see pyramids. You're gonna see black Egyptians. You know what I'm saying?
Who was
We
the
had a
founder of that? Can you tell and elaborate?
right. So Dr. York, also known as Yanud, also known as Tahuti, right? Who was a reincarnation of Tahuti. He built a land called Tamaray. Tamaray is the true name of Egypt. We don't call Egypt Egypt. We call it Tamaray. We don't call it Kemet. We call it Tamaray. He built Tamaray of the West out here in Georgia. It was our own land. You had houses, you could live on it. There was 2 black pyramids on it. But guess what? The feds didn't like that shit. They don't want to see y'all reconnecting with your culture. They end up destroying it. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully, moving forward, the goal is to reestablish something like that. You know what I'm saying? So we can separate and live on our own land. You know what I'm saying? But you got to find the right people on the right vibration. You got to find your tribe. You know what I'm saying? And I'll land on that because you said a lot. You said a lot, man. Woo!
I love it. And I love the fact you come on. We're going to try to accommodate your hours so you could really be part of the show because you add so much depth to the show, brother. As the show's taking off, you know, we're getting over 80,000 viewers a month now, you know, so we're gonna do this. We're gonna make movies and TV shows. I have a new book coming out in the virtual reality campus. You're gonna be a professor. That's real. So we're creating solutions. Tamaray of the West, we're building that in Riverside County, baby.
Hey man, look, man, listen, Jason. After you get off this call, Google, check out Tamaray. That is the ultimate goal. To reestablish our own land with our own pyramids. The pyramids, listen, they was calling down starships. That's why the government said, nah, fuck that. You can't have no black people calling down starships. With the pyramids, nigga, please. You know what I'm saying? So that's why they had to shut that down. But that's the ultimate goal. And hopefully, and one last thing, hopefully, we can accommodate my hours because I be talking to y'all sober. Wait till I get home and smoke my trees. I'm really gonna go in.
Okay. What hour is it? Just an hour that you need, but we'll talk about it off camera. So, Lana, leave us with something as we close out.
Real quick, fear is a real energy, and it's a part of you, and you got to balance it out. So, false evidence appearing real. So, they're definitely trickling that energy of fear out there to a lot of folks. So, just stay focused and grounded. And balance. You got to balance it all out, make it make sense. So just that's all I have to say about that. Thanks for having me. Oh, and you can find me at She Makes Sense on Facebook. And my Lana's Elixir, that is coming soon. It's behind the scenes. You can see it right here. Lana's Elixir. You can find me on Instagram on Lana's Elixir. That's going to be my new potion coming out. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, everyone have a good night. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for all that information. You guys are going to have to hit play, rewind, pause. You're going to have to write all this information down because that's a whole lot of downloads. Lots of downloads.
My new book's going to be coming out. So be checking for that. Jason and the Lost Pyramid. He becomes a superhero. Books of the week. Seminole Wars, America's longest Indian conflict. In this book, they describe that when the Europeans arrived to Florida, they were astounded that the majority of the Indians in Florida were not red men. The majority of the Indians that they discovered in Florida when the Europeans arrived were black. So right here, the Seminole Wars, great book proving Aboriginal people who look like me presence in America. And then Word Magic by Pao Chang, The Powers of Occult Definitions in Words, because words are magic. So we're going to end it with that. And then as always, Jason Visits the Museum, one of the hottest books on the planet you can find on Amazon about overcoming ADHD, multicultural curriculum, and history. And Jason wins the game. Let's make reading fun again. I am Jason Elm Street Williams, master of the universe, and this is What is the Matrix TV. See y'all next week. Peace and love.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What is the Matrix?
Start me from the top, man.
Maybe it's the weed got me. Maybe it's these trees got me. Maybe it's these hoes got me. Maybe it's this stroll that got me. Maybe it's these clothes got me. Maybe it's these laws got me. Maybe it's my dogs got me. Maybe it's these bras got me. Maybe it's this man that got me. Maybe it's my clan that got me. Maybe it's my fam that got me. My plans, my plans. The Matrix, Matrix.
When I wake up in the morning, I wake up in the morning, putting my read in my Bible paper. Lord, I can see them later. Middle finger up, always screaming, fuck a hater. Chewing on them suckers like annihilator. No hip hop, this ain't rock and roll. This is real music, pop lock your soul.
Welcome to the world-famous King Tut Museum. Be sure to respect the ancient relics. The ancient Egyptians were a magical people who built numerous beautiful, magnificent structures, like the world-famous pyramids and temples. No running inside. Scientists till this very day still do not know how the Egyptians built the pyramids.
I wonder, did aliens ever visit ancient Egypt?
Wow! Look at that giant Egyptian statue! It looks just like you, Jason!
Thanks, Toby. You're a super cool friend. Imagine what the world would look like if I was the pharaoh.
Jason, you are daydreaming. Wake up.
Sorry. History got away from me.